and welcome to the 124th edition of Beer Issues. My name is Matt Bruckert, and I'm coming to you here live today from the Bruckert Beer House, where we're going to be trying another great Oktoberfest beer. We're going to be having the Sierra Nevada Oktoberfest beer. Now, there's some special things about this beer, and we're going to kind of talk about it as we get going. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start working on it. Now, the beer, it's a March style, which is the March, right? So it's a March beer, brewed, cellared. We've talked about all this before, about how it works. But they usually do a collaboration beer with a German beer company. But this year, I think because of the coronavirus and all, I'm not really sure what the situation was. But my understanding is I've heard that they kind of did this solo this year. So it might be a little bit different. And it might be why I've got contradicting ABVs and ratings and all this. So it's either 5.8% ABV or 6% ABV. I can't figure it out because different ones say different things, so I'm really not sure. And that could be on the different years. They might have just, tweaked the recipe a little bit, okay? The ratings are pretty solid across the board. It ranks about 86 out of 100, which is a very good beer. It dropped a little bit. It was an 87, I believe, in prior years. So, I don't know. It's wide open, so we're just going to kind of check it out and see what we can find out, okay? So the one thing I can see, I got a good color here. The head's a little bit light, and maybe it's the way I poured it, I'm not sure, or maybe it's because I poured it into this beautiful I Have Beer Issues glass. I don't know if you can see that, but I Have Beer Issues. That's a beautiful glass. It's really more of an IPA glass, but I couldn't wait to do it because my beautiful bride got me that for our anniversary, which is very nice of her. Okay, so they use a couple of different kind of hops in this beer. They use Munich and Vienna malts are what they use, and then they use Spalter and Spalter Select hops. Okay, so good German hops that they're using, so they're in the right thing. Now you see the color, yeah, like I said, is a golden. I'm going to kind of do this a little bit to try and bring up that head just a little bit to kind of release some of the good smells and everything like that before we smell it. But what you should smell from a good Oktoberfest is like a floral, spicy kind of smell. So let's go ahead and check it out. Yeah, so you do get a little bit of a spice, definitely a floral type. There's something in there, and I'm going to pick up on exactly what this is, but it almost has a sweetness to the smell, which you don't really get typically in an Oktoberfest. It's typically going to be just a little bit more malty, maybe the hops in the beginning, and then finish off kind of malty, sweet. So let's just go ahead and check it out. Let's not waste time. I'm going to say this is a unique Oktoberfest, okay? I've been drinking all these German-style Oktoberfests, one after another, and I love them. But this is different. This is a much sweeter, I would say, Oktoberfest. Probably one of the sweetest Oktoberfests I've had yet. And there's definitely a floral taste that you get in there, which is very unique. I've never had an Oktoberfest beer quite like this. It's a very enjoyable, drinkable beer. I like it. I'm excited about drinking the rest of it. But I certainly have a hard time comparing it to other Oktoberfest style beers. Even though it's delicious, it just, to me, doesn't bring... When I drink an Oktoberfest, the first thing I think is, I'm going to get some hops up front, finished malty. This is very light hops, very light malts, very florally. It's a good beer. Don't get me wrong. I like it, and I could drink, several of them because it's just, refreshing and delicious. It's got good carbonation. You can see the bubbles popping up through there. I mean, there's definitely a good solid beer. It's just not what I expect from an Oktoberfest, but I'll stick with them on the rating. I think that rating it a very good beer is good, but I don't know if you could shift it into another beer category because I'm not sure what that would be, but it's definitely a good, enjoyable, drinkable beer. It's just not something I would necessarily classify as a traditional Oktoberfest for sure. I like it. I mean, it's delicious. I wish I had more because it is good. It's just not an Oktoberfest beer. So anyway, make sure you check this out. It's definitely worth trying. And if you want something unique, definitely, if you're looking for an Oktoberfest beer, this might not be the one that you would go with. But if you want a nice, refreshing, crisp, cross between maybe a lager and a pilsner, maybe something in there, but it's very light, sweet. It's unique. It's a unique beer. I'm going to just say that. So if you've enjoyed this, make sure you tell your friends, and make sure they tell their friends, and they tell their friends until everybody knows about how much fun we're having drinking beer and talking about beer here on Beer Issues. If you want any cool merchandise, make sure you go to shop.beerissues.com. And as my wife likes to say, I have beer issues, just like the glass says.